kind of talk through and teach me how I can use some different tools in the G1000 to kind of navigate around.
Yeah, so especially with navigation, right? You might be flying solo, something like that. So I can kind of teach you how to get set up with the autopilot to be able to, utilize that tool. So it gives you a little bit more time to like check the approach plate, frequencies, whatever you need to get loaded in there. Because if you're by yourself, then it could be a little overwhelming or take some time, right? So this is a tool to be able to help out and relieve some of that added pressure and things like that. So, so we can get autopilot set up. Basically, the way that I go about it is you just want to determine if you're going to be going off heading or navigation mode. So right now we're just kind of flying out to the east. We don't have a set destination yet. We'll probably go to Terrell, and we can look at that here in a second. But I would start off by setting it to heading mode, and it's all it's going to do is just keep whatever heading you have bugged there. So then if you switch it to the right or to the left, it'll go ahead and turn and just be following whatever heading you have bugged in there.
Okay.
Next is, since we're straight and level, all I'm going to do is just go hit the altitude button, and it basically will catch wherever that's at. So it kind of caught 1990. We're looking to just go to 2000. So I'll go flight level change for kind of increasing that or getting up to the altitude, and then vertical speed is going to be for descending. So it'd be more along the lines of we're coming in for an approach and we want to descend at a certain rate, and you can kind of do that with nose up, nose down, and same thing with flight level change as well. So you can kind of go nose up, and it'll start to match that airspeed until it locks in right there at 2000. But it's not engaged yet, so that's just kind of setting up. To engage it, you just go ahead and hit AP, and then it'll kind of take over. And then from there, you're able to, kind of mess around, plug your frequencies in, get familiar with like the taxi diagram, something like that. Looks like we got this guy coming in.
Another thing you can mention when you're teaching that is, so yeah, I like what you're saying. So vertical speed we usually use when we're descending, because vertical speed, it can actually have you climb or descend. It can do both, right. But we usually use that just for descending because we like to do it at a rate. So the vertical speed is going to be a rate based off of your VSI that it's going to try to maintain for whatever you set it to climb or descend at per feet per minute climb or descend. The flight level change will be an airspeed that you want to climb or descend at, that it's going to try to maintain for you. But it can't do anything with the throttle though, right?
What's that?
It can't do anything with the throttle though, right?
No. So you're in control of the throttle and the rudders the entire time.
Yeah, exactly. So in saying that, we want to make sure that we're climbing at a flight level change. So we want to climb at an airspeed and not climbing at a rate, because if that's the case and you set it to climb at a rate and your conditions are terrible for the day, and you get yourself down into a really slow airspeed because it's trying to maintain a rate that, because the performance is crap, can get you in an unsafe situation as far as stall speed, right?
Right.
So that's why we want to climb at a speed and not a rate.
Yep.
But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, no, good point.
Yep.
So then the next thing that we could do as far as autopilot and using that as a tool is using the navigation mode. So right now we're on heading, so if I were to turn 10 degrees to the right, it will go ahead and follow what I have bugged in. So once I switch it over to 100, it will start flying at 100 all on its own. So, but let's say we wanted to go to Terrell. So what I could do is go nearest and then just scroll down and find KTRL right there. And I'm going to go direct and then enter, activate, yes. So now it's plugged in, but we're still on heading mode. And then the only thing we need to do to switch that is go ahead and hit nav mode. And then once we hit nav mode, then we'll be following that magenta line, purple line, all the way over to Terrell.
Cool, we can do that.
And as you can see, it's switched over from heading to FMS.
Yeah, good. Teach them these two boxes right here.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people just get to pushing buttons over here.
Yeah.
And then whether it actually, because some of them don't hit if you push it the first time or whatever, or they didn't push it hard enough or whatever the case may be, make sure that you're teaching for them to look at these two boxes. So this is your lateral and this is your vertical.
Yeah.
So make sure they both read how you want them to read before you turn on the autopilot.
Right. Okay.